is Jody Jackson Tucker with Second Mother, and I'm so excited today to introduce you to my amazing daughter, Agnes. A story I'd like to share about you that I mentioned in Second Mother is that the day I met you.
Yeah.
Do you remember that day?
Yeah.
I know you do. I came to the orphanage in Uganda with my daughter Mackenzie, who's been in some of our other videos, and I was nervous to meet you, and they told me that you would be coming down this hill, and so I was walking up this dusty hillside in Uganda,
I remember.
and you were walking down, and we were looking at each other, right?
Yeah.
And we met in the middle, and my heart was pounding. Were you nervous?
I was. I think
were?
I was more nervous than you were. For one, because I didn't know what was going on at all.
Okay, so we need to talk about that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about, did you understand what was happening? I understood what was happening, or what I was attempting to do, what we were attempting to do.
Yeah, I didn't know what the term adoption meant.
So it wasn't even explained to you.
It was not.
Wow. So you had just been told, go meet this lady, she's interested in adopting you.
Yeah, they told me I have a guest, basically.
A guest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Quite a guest. But it's never left me what you said to me that day. So let me back up and explain that you were caring for your younger siblings in the orphanage.
Yes.
And you had been basically not only caring for them, but sometimes even literally keeping them alive. Is that fair to say?
Yes, basically I had to make sure they're eating, they got food, they got what they needed at the end of the day, and I make sure they bathed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
And when times were hard, you had to protect them and care for them. So here you were, 14 years old, but essentially you were a mom to 3 younger kids that you were protecting and taking care of. And so when we met in the middle on that dusty hillside, I thought we would just sort of make pleasant conversation at first. This is kind of how it, how it usually is. You said, if we go with you, will it be forever? Those are the first words you spoke to me. You were like, let's get right to the bottom line here, lady. Let's get right to business. And I can tell you, this woman is studying international business and getting her MBA. She is a get down to business woman.
Yes.
So you're 23 years old now, but even at 14, you had the maturity.
Yes,
that
I had to have the maturity to survive in the conditions that I've been through.
Yeah. And you were like, if we go with you, is it forever?
Yes.
Now, I knew what was the answer to that question, which was yes, but I didn't know if that was the right answer. I didn't know what you were looking for.
Exactly.
I thought maybe she doesn't want it to be forever. I didn't know what was your right answer. So, I took a deep breath. My heart was pounding, and I tried to look you back in the eye. Although you were a little above me on the hill, you squared off with me, girl. And I looked you in the eye, and I said, "Yes, it will be forever." And she just considers it for a moment, in her little Ugandan way, and she goes, "Okay then. Come on, Mom. I want to introduce you to my friends." I mean, that was it. That was the whole interview.
Yes, I was basically ready. Like all the situations that I've been through.
Yeah.
They prepared. Like I was ready to have a permanent family. And so when I met you, and you were really interested in it. You showed us love from the beginning, and you just won me over. And you showed me love that other families that tried to take care of me did not show. So that had in my heart, I just knew that, this is my mom.
So that's amazing because, I'm sure you had so many questions and doubts, and even in that moment, I hadn't had the opportunity to show you much love yet. So are you saying like over the course of that day
Yes.
you felt that love?
Yes, because I remember we spent a whole day with you. You stayed over
Yes.
for like a couple nights.
Yes.
So I remember, when we first met up on the hill, like we introduced each other. And
Yes.
You explained to me what was going on because I didn't really know what was going on.
Yes.
Then I asked you the question, and then at the end, during the day, throughout the day, you met my friends. We spent a whole day together. You showed me albums of the family back here.
Picture, the obligatory photo album.
And you just laughed on us and you kept kissing on our faces and hugging us. And we didn't have, I never had anybody like kiss me on my face or like hug me like that as a child. And so that I was like, wow, like this lady here really loves me in my, already. And so that that was it for me. I was like, I hadn't received this from anybody else or any other family like that, and I just knew from there like this is the kind of love that I need, that my siblings and I need.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And so that's why that issue of permanency was so important.
It was important to me because other families will make promises and or like the families that I was going through, from family to family, relatives to relatives, they'll be like, oh, we'll take care of you or whatever. But then I end up taking care of them and taking care of their children and taking care of the house, like a housemaid. So to me, that was like, I didn't get the love. I was the one constantly giving myself to people, and I didn't get that.
That must have been really hard.
And then when I met you, it was the opposite. You treated me as a kid. Most people treated me as an adult or like a caretaker for them and their needs around their house or whatever. So when I met you, it was completely the opposite. So that's when I knew, like, this is it. This is my family. Wow. This is my mom.
Wow.
Yeah.
I knew that. I knew you were my daughter by perception, which is one of the things in the book. So let me ask you more about that in your childhood. Mm-hmm. A lot of children in foster care, in other kinds of situations, do end up going from family to family.
Right.
Getting their hopes up, being disappointed. Yes. Is that what developed in you, this desire that the one thing you wanted to ask me was, would this be forever? Yes. Did that shape that desire in you?
Yes, it did. Be happy.
How do you think that shaped you and your personality, and how did that shape your development, not having that permanency until age 14?
Well, of course I have a lot of trust issues. So when somebody tells me, oh, even if they really mean it, I still question them. Like, I still in the back of my head have a question, or like I prepare myself for the let down. You know what I'm saying? So like when you tell me something, oh, Aggie, I'm gonna do this, I don't put my hopes up. I still like calculate the consequences of how things are gonna go. So I prepare myself for the worst, regardless of what you tell me. I'm still gonna prepare myself for the worst, so I don't get disappointed. Even now.
10 years later.
Even today.
If I tell you after this we're gonna go shopping for shoes, you're thinking in your mind, but if she changes her mind, I can still do something else that would be fun.
Yes.
Interesting.
So yeah, up to today, no matter what you say to me or anybody says to me, I still question it, and I try not to. It's just that I have to prepare myself for.
So you're always protecting your heart. Wow. I'm sorry. That's hard. I'm sorry. Vulnerable of you to share that. So thank you. Well, we'll talk more about some other issues in our next segment. Thank you, Agnes, for opening up your heart to us today.